ถานีวิทยุสรานรม AM1575 การทูตเพื่อประชาชน
เพื่อไทยก้าวไกลทันโลก
6 p.m. here on Radio Saranrom, AM1575, the radio station of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand. You're now listening to News and Views with me, Venus Asawakpoom. There are quite a few new developments about Thailand this week. First is Thailand assumes Asia Cooperation Dialogue Chairmanship from Saudi Arabia. On the 30th September 2015, Director General of Department of International Economic Affairs and Thailand SOM or SOM leader shared the Asia Cooperation Dialogue Senior Officials meeting on the sidelines of the 70th session of the UNGA at the United Nations headquarters in New York. 21 representatives from the member states as well as Mr. Bandit Limskun, Secretary General of the ACD Provisional Secretariat, were present at the meeting. The meeting witnessed the transfer of chairmanship from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to Thailand for the upcoming year, which starts from September 2015 to 2016. In his statement, Mr. Kongsak-D extended appreciation to Saudi Arabia for her contribution as past ACD chair. He informed the meeting of Nepal's request to join ACD as the 34th member state. Thailand also conveyed to the meeting her intention to host the 14th ACD ministerial meeting in Bangkok during the first quarter of 2016. And of course, I'll bring you more updates on the meeting in the coming year. High on Thailand's agenda were the advancement of the ACD cooperation in all dimensions, particularly the ACD Regional Connectivity and ACD Vision 2030 initiatives. Thailand hopes that the two important documents drafted by the Thai side, namely the tentative roadmap on ACD Regional Connectivity and the concept paper on ACD Vision for Asia Cooperation 2030, will be endorsed by the member states and become the outcome documents of the second ACD summit in Thailand in the last quarter of 2016. Member states also took note of the progress report from the ACD Secretariat. Now, the development of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, namely the Consular Affairs, it's quite exciting actually. On the 28th September 2000, this year 2015, Mr. Narachit Singhaseni, Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, presided over the opening ceremony of the Consular Call Center service at the Department of Consular Affairs, Jangwattana Road. The call center and the number is 02-572-8442. It's a 24-hour service where the public can obtain information about consular services and other news. Of course, this number, not only you can acquire information, but you can also report on activities or report concerns that has anything to do with consular affairs. For example, if you know somebody who lives abroad who needs help, for example. The mobile application, it's also available. It's called Thai Consular. It's THAICONSULAR, was also developed to complement the call center and can be downloaded on both Android and iOS operation systems. Moreover, there are crisis when there are crises abroad, such as natural disasters and conflicts, the call center will be upgraded to a coordination center to assist Thais living and traveling abroad. This is nothing new actually. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, every time there's a situation, whether it be occurring abroad or here in Thailand, we always set up a call centers to help coordinate with all the concerned parties from abroad and also from within Thailand. But now we'll have the fixed service that it's available 24 hours every day, regardless of whether there's any situations. And the good news is that the number will be constant. So in times of crisis, you know which number to call or which application to use, which I'll repeat again at the end of the news report. The call service is in line with the government's policy to upgrade the proactive services of the ministries and developing one-stop services to increase the well-being of Thai people. As the main agency responsible for providing assistance to Thai nationals abroad, the Department of Consular Affairs developed the call center to provide useful information and increase communication channels between Thai nationals, the ministry, and Royal Thai embassies and Royal Thai Consulates General worldwide. So here again, the number is 02-572-8442. And of course, if you're calling from abroad, the code before 02 would be 662-572-8442. It's a 24-hour service, and you can also reach the service through mobile application called Thai Consular. And there's a good news for tourists. Not only last week, we've just launched the Android and also iOS app called Street Food Bangkok for tourists who want to find the famous delectable Thai street foods. And it comes not only with the list of various type of foods, but you can also get the map and how to reach your destination, either by taxi or by BTS or just walking there. It's really comprehensive and quite useful. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it's called Street Food Bangkok and is free. And in addition to that, Thailand is launching the Multiple Entry Tourist Visa or METV scheme. The new type of visa is an addition to the already existing 60 days tourist visa and will be effective from 13 November 2015 onwards. The METV is applicable to tourists of all nationalities wishing to travel to the kingdom. Applicants can apply for the METV at all Royal Thai embassies, Consulates General, and honorary consulates worldwide. The application fee is 500 Thai baht with a visa validity of 6 months and a duration of stay of up to 60 days per visit. So if you really like visiting Thailand and you visit often and for quite a number of days, it might be worthwhile to get this visa. The METV scheme aims to boost Thailand's tourism industry and Thailand's readiness for the ASEAN community at the end of this year. Now let's move on to a little cultural update. There's an exciting news that's been passed around via National Geographic, The Guardian, and IFL Science, which is one of my favorite websites to visit for the scientific updates. And it's the story of ancient Egypt's iconic queen Nefertiti. It's a source of ongoing intrigue and speculation. And renowned for her beauty, she was the chief wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, and during the 14th century BCE, though her husband's decision to part with traditional religion and establish the Aten, the cult of sun disk, was extremely controversial, she supported him. A famous figure, no doubt, and in part due to her iconic bust housed in the Egyptian Museum in Berlin. Yet her body has never been found. But that could be changed soon. So where is this long-lost queen? One British archaeologist has a bold theory. His name is Nicholas Reeves. He believes that it could be hidden in a burial chamber that has been right under our noses, adjacent to the tomb of Tutankhamun, who was Akhenaten's son by another wife. But physical evidence was lacking for this theory until now. Indications of the existence of not one, but actually two concealed burial chambers have now been found in the boy king's tomb. And this discovery, the find is the result of both physical inspections of the tomb conducted by Reeves and the Egypt's antiquities minister. The examinations of the laser images taken by Madrid-based digital mediation company. Their scans were used to construct a replica of the young pharaoh's tomb, but the team made them publicly available for anyone with interest, so Reeves wasted no time scrutinizing them. So the technology has helped us to see what's right under our noses, basically, and we didn't realize that there were two unfound tombs before. So he spotted distinct lines between the plaster covering the western and northern walls of the tomb, which could represent traces of doorways that had been covered up. Reeves was so confident in his theory that the enigmatic Nefertiti may lie behind these walls that he published a paper outlining his ideas. But it's only this week that it has been bolstered by observations made during the physical investigation of the room that contains Tutankhamun's sarcophagus. First of all, we saw that on the ceiling itself there's a distinct line, Reeves told the National Geographic, and this, he says, matches with part of the wall that they suspect may have been plastered to conceal a hidden chamber, making it inaccessible to the robbers and archaeologists who have investigated the tomb in the past. So basically it's a virgin tomb, so it's quite exciting what it may hold, because a lot of times when archaeologists discover these, the thieves got to them right before, and a lot of artifacts were lost or stolen. So then there is also the fact that the material covering this wall does not appear to be consistent across it, with the central part differing from the plaster surrounding it, which could be indicative of a door in the middle. This wouldn't be the first time that such a find has been revealed, but we will have to wait until more detailed radar scans of the tomb are conducted for confirmation of the presence of a hollow. Even then, we won't necessarily find out what's inside, because the wall is covered in a priceless painting, so getting permission for excavation won't be easy. Regardless, there are ultimately no promises for the discoveries of Nefertiti. Tutankhamun died unexpectedly before reaching 20, so it's possible that there was not enough time to fashion him a new tomb, and that instead he was hastily buried in one that was originally purposed for someone else, perhaps Nefertiti, who died a decade before. But others aren't so sure, instead proposing that the body of Kia may lie behind the walls, which is she is another of Akhenaten's wives and the suspected mother of Tutankhamun. So that is to be followed up soon. Welcome back to News and Views. There are two pieces that I like to talk about from the scientific updates I've been wanting to get to since the last few weeks. One is about how scientists identify the neurons that influence alcoholism, and another one is a new look at Acetaminophen, which I will get to this one first because it's quite close to us. It's the drug that found in common painkillers such as Tylenol, and the scientists found that it could be an all-purpose damper. What it means is that consider this trade-off the next time you have a headache. Would you take a medicine that didn't just ease the pain, but muffle your happiness too? And this piece is from the Wall Street Journal. There's a recent study suggests that acetaminophen found in Tylenol, Excedrin, and a host of other medications. It's an all-purpose damper, stifling a range of strong feelings. Throbbing pain, the sting of rejection, paralyzing indecision, along with euphoria and delight, all appear to be taken down a notch by the drug. For most people, this over-the-counter drug doesn't demand much thought. Take the right dose and the pain goes away. But it actually may not be that simple. So in 2010, the psychologists Naomi Eisenberger and Nathan DeWall discovered that a 3-week course of acetaminophen soothed social pain, like feelings of exclusion or ridicule. So it's not just the physical pain, but something psychological as well. The drug also alleviated the agony of indecision. Dr. DeWall found earlier this year. So building on this research, a new study published in June in the Journal of Psychological Science shows that acetaminophen affects not just how we perceive physical and psychological pain, but how the brain processes strong feelings in general. Though the study was small and limited to college students as subjects, the researchers designed it to meet the high standards of pharmaceutical testing and were able to replicate it. So led by Ohio State University doctoral candidate Jeffrey Durso, the study compared reactions to 40 photos. Some were run-of-the-mill, some pleasant, others shockingly aversive, including images of fighting in a ravaged city and malnourished children. So a photo can elicit gut-wrenching emotions or enhance and captivate us. The researchers' goal was to test the painkiller's effects on such reactions. Half of the 85 subjects or people who take part in the project took 1,000 milligrams of acetaminophen, which is a standard extra strength dose, and the rest took a placebo, a lookalike placebo. So neither the participants nor the researchers knew who had taken what. After allowing time for the medication to take effect, the researchers then asked the participants to rate 40 photos using a standardized test. So compared to the placebo, acetaminophen blunted the extremity of their reactions. So that's what's found. And the more intense the emotions, the more the drug muted them. So how much did the painkiller dial down the participants' reaction? For extremely pleasant stimuli, the drug blunted their emotions by about 20%. And muted reactions to extremely unpleasant photos to 10%, by 10%, excuse me. So if the acetaminophen muffles all kinds of emotional experience, many of our assumptions about mind-body distinctions and how to treat different types of distress may be wrong. And the psychological pain and physical pain might be actually connected with each other. So it's long been thought that positive emotions are one system and negative emotions are another. So that's another way to look at it. If acetaminophen blunts both positive and negative emotions, it's probably working through the same ways. Like a built-in volume control in our brain, acetaminophen alters the neural circuits that govern our emotion responses in general, whereas ibuprofen and aspirin inhibit pain by acting right at the site of inflammation. So the two kind of drugs, even though they're both painkillers, they work differently. So if you take ibuprofen and aspirin, it basically inhibit pain by acting at the site of inflammation where you have physical pain, whereas acetaminophen that found in Tylenol and other types of painkillers acts globally, modifying your reactions to the incoming pain signal. So if you take a painkiller before a run, ibuprofen reduces the pain coming from your knees, whereas acetaminophen reduces how your brain responds to that pain. The researchers are now looking at ibuprofen used in medicines as Advil and Motrin to see if it also has psychological effects. What they find may shift how reflexive we reach for pain relief. So stay tuned. Let me start a little bit on how scientists identify the neurons that influence alcoholism. I find it really fascinating. So this piece is from the IFL Science. So I'll just come out for one drink. So it's how we usually repeatedly kid ourselves. It's good to see that many of us have faith that we can call upon willpower to turn down the offer of just one more. But often it seems we should resign ourselves to the fact that it rarely is just one beverage. But what drives alcohol-seeking behavior? Scientists seem to be slowly unraveling this story. According to new research, alcohol changes both the structure and function of specific population of cells in a region of the brain that is known to drive goal-directed behaviors. Ultimately, the alterations made these cells more excitable, sending signals that create an urge for more. The discoveries made by researchers at Texas A&M University follows from the earlier work by the same group that found alcohol facilitates an important neuronal process in cells located in an area of the brain called DMS, and this process called synaptic plasticity involves alterations to the strength of the junctions between neurons or synapses across which information flows. So to delve a little deeper, the team engineered mice so that the cells which make up the majority of the DMS called medium spine neurons were fluorescent. These spider-like neurons possess many branching structures that are complete with tiny protrusions called spines that serve as an input point. They're also adorned with one of the two types of receptor for our brain's pleasure chemical dopamine, and so can be referred to as either D1 or D2 neurons. The former is involved in a goal pathway which encourages action, whereas the latter or D2, the opposite, and drive no-go behaviors. Let's pause at here for now, and we'll continue about this in our next program. Today, our time has come to an end. If you have any further inquiries, questions, or comments, please write a letter or send a postcard to Venus Asawapum at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, 443 Rama 6 Road, Ratchathewi, Bangkok 10400, or just drop a line at saranrom.mfa.go.th. It's saranrom@mfa.go.th. And today's program, it's also available on Facebook and YouTube, Saranrom Radio. Thank you for tuning in to News and Views. Have a very pleasant evening. สวัสดีค่ะ